You think you're playing the game, but you're not. You're being played. And the people at the top? They're laughing because you still believe in hard work, fairness, and waiting your turn. Let me tell you something that's going to make you uncomfortable. Success isn't what they told you it was. It's not about being the nicest person in the room. It's not about following the rules everyone else follows. The winners, they're playing a completely different game. And they've been doing it in silence while you've been busy being good. You've been fed lies your entire life. Lies about how the world works. Lies about what it takes to win. And the people who fed you those lies, they're the same ones who don't want you to know what I'm about to tell you. Because the moment you understand these 12 shadow rules, everything changes. Your power shifts, your reality transforms, and you stop being easy to control. I'm about to introduce you to principles that the most successful, most powerful people on earth live by, but will never openly admit. These come from observing real power dynamics, from studying history's most influential figures, from understanding the psychology that separates those who dominate from those who merely survive. This isn't motivational fluff. This isn't your feel-good morning affirmation. This is raw truth about how power actually works. And I'm warning you right now, this is going to be uncomfortable. Some of you will resist it. Some of you will call it dark or manipulative. Good. That means it's real. That means you're finally seeing past the comfortable illusions you've been living in. The question is, are you ready to see how the game is actually played? Are you ready to stop being a pawn and start becoming a player? If you are, drop "I'm ready" in the comments right now. Let me know you're not here for fairy tales. You're here for the truth. Lesson 1. Perception is your first product. Before anyone buys what you sell, they buy who they think you are. Most people obsess over their actual skills, their actual results, their actual value. Winners obsess over how they're perceived first. Because here's the brutal truth. If people don't perceive you as valuable, your actual value doesn't matter. You could be brilliant, but if you look desperate, you're powerless. You could be average, but if you carry yourself like you're elite, doors open. The powerful understand this at a cellular level. They control the narrative. They craft their image with the precision of a master sculptor. Every word, every gesture, every silence is calculated to create a specific impression. They know that human beings make decisions emotionally and justify them logically, so they engineer the emotion first. Look at any major CEO, any political leader, any cultural icon. They have teams dedicated to perception management. Why? Because they know that perception creates reality in the minds of others. And in the minds of others is where your opportunities live, where your deals happen, where your influence grows. Most people get this catastrophically wrong. They think just being themselves is enough. They think authenticity means showing all their doubts, all their struggles, all their uncertainty. And then they wonder why no one takes them seriously. Winners know that authenticity is showing your true values while strategically managing how those values are packaged. It's not about being fake, it's about being intentional. When you walk into a room, what do people see? When you speak, what do they hear beneath the words? When you're silent, what are they assuming? If you're not controlling that narrative, someone else is, and they're not doing it in your favor. Drop this in the comments. My presence is premium. This is just the beginning, and it only gets darker from here. Lesson 2. Comfort is the slow death of potential. Every single day you choose comfort over growth, you're killing a future version of yourself that could have been extraordinary. The powerful don't avoid discomfort, they hunt it. They understand that comfort is quicksand disguised as a cozy bed. It feels safe while it's swallowing you whole. Think about the most successful people you know or know of. They're not comfortable. They're constantly in situations that stretch them, challenge them, expose their weaknesses. Why? Because they know that growth only happens at the edge of your current capacity. Stay in the middle where it's safe and you flatline. You maintain, you survive, but you never dominate. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, not to make you great. It will throw every excuse at you to stay where you are. You deserve rest. You've worked hard enough. Why push yourself when things are okay? That voice, that's the voice of mediocrity. That's the voice that keeps most people ordinary. Winners silence that voice. They make friends with fear. They understand that the feeling of, "I don't know if I can do this," is actually the feeling of expansion. It's the sensation of becoming more than you currently are. Most people run from it. Winners run toward it. Here's what most people do. They work hard until they reach a certain level of comfort. Then they coast. They get the decent job, the decent relationship, the decent life. And then they wonder why they feel empty. Because humans aren't designed for comfort. We're designed for challenge, for conquest, for becoming. Comfort is a lullaby that puts your potential to sleep permanently. The next time you're faced with a choice between comfortable and challenging, remember this. Every person living a life you envy chose challenging over and over until it became their new normal. Then they chose challenging again. Comment this right now. I choose expansion over comfort. Let that sink in, because most of you won't actually do it. Lesson 3. Strategic silence holds more power than desperate speech. You talk too much. Everyone does. You over-explain, you justify, you fill every silence with nervous chatter. And every time you do, you leak power. Winners understand that silence is a weapon. Silence creates tension. Silence forces others to fill the void. Silence makes people reveal themselves while you reveal nothing. Watch a master negotiator. They make their offer, then they shut up. The amateur, they make their offer, then immediately start explaining why it's reasonable, why it makes sense, why the other person should accept it. They negotiate against themselves. The powerful know that whoever speaks first after the offer loses. This goes deeper than negotiation. In every interaction, information is currency. The more you say, the more you give away. Your insecurities, your desperation, your position. Winners become masters of strategic ambiguity. They say just enough to intrigue, never enough to expose. Most people are terrified of silence in conversation. They perceive it as awkward, as something to be filled. This terror makes them controllable. Because when you're afraid of silence, you'll say anything to break it. You'll agree to things you shouldn't. You'll reveal information that weakens your position. You'll show your cards because the discomfort is unbearable. The powerful, they're comfortable in silence. They use it like a scalpel. They watch you squirm. They watch you over-explain. And they learn everything they need to know about your weaknesses, your fears, your true position. Here's the practice. In your next conversation, after you make a statement or ask a question, shut up completely. Don't fill the silence. Don't soften your words. Don't explain yourself. Just wait. Watch what happens. Watch how the other person scrambles. Watch how the power dynamic shifts. Words are cheap. Silence is expensive. Most people can't afford it. Drop this. My silence has weight. This is the dark side, but it's also the real side. Lesson 4. Your problems are boring. Solve them quietly. Nobody cares about your struggles. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about your journey except you. This sounds harsh, but it's liberation disguised as brutality. The moment you understand that the world doesn't owe you sympathy, you stop seeking it and start seeking solutions. Winners have problems just like everyone else. The difference? They solve them in private and present only results in public. They understand that broadcasting your struggles makes you look weak, not relatable. It makes people see you as a liability, not an asset. There's this modern obsession with sharing every difficulty, every setback, every emotional turbulence. People think it makes them authentic, vulnerable, human. And sure, in your inner circle, selective vulnerability builds connection. But in the arena of power and opportunity, your problems are ammunition for your competition. Think about it. When someone constantly talks about their challenges, what do you think? You might say you admire their transparency, but unconsciously, you're categorizing them as someone who struggles, someone who's overwhelmed, someone who's not quite capable. That's not the person you give the big opportunity to. That's not the person you invest in or bet on. The powerful handle their chaos behind closed doors. They work with coaches, therapists, mentors. They process, they strategize, they fix. But publicly, they're composed, they're capable, they're the ones who have it figured out. And when they finally share a struggle, it's past tense. It's a story of overcoming, not a plea for understanding. Your energy is finite. Every moment you spend broadcasting your problems is energy you're not spending solving them. Every conversation where you're the victim of circumstance is a conversation where you're reinforcing that identity to yourself and others. Handle your business, fix your issues, then, if it serves a purpose, share the lesson. But never, ever make your problems your personality. Comment: I solve in silence, I win in public. Most of you won't internalize this. You'll keep oversharing, and you'll keep wondering why you're not taken seriously. Lesson 5. Loyalty is earned, not given, and it expires. This one is going to hurt. You're loyal to people who aren't loyal to you. You're giving your energy, your time, your trust to people who would drop you the moment a better option appeared. And you do it because you think loyalty is a virtue that should be unconditional. It's not. Loyalty is a transaction, and winners understand the terms. The powerful are loyal to people who add value, who align with their vision, who prove themselves consistently. The moment that equation changes, so does their loyalty. This isn't cruel, this is reality. Your time on earth is limited, your energy is precious. Spending it on people who don't reciprocate isn't loyalty, it's self-destruction. Look at the people in your life right now. Who's actually there when you need them? Who celebrates your wins without jealousy? Who challenges you to grow rather than enabling your excuses? Those people have earned your loyalty. The rest? They're on probation, whether you admit it or not. Most people confuse history with value. I've known them for 10 years. So what? If those 10 years have been one-sided, if you've been the giver and they've been the taker, you don't owe them another minute. Winners understand that loyalty to the wrong people is disloyalty to yourself and your future. And here's the part that really disturbs people. Loyalty expires. Someone who was valuable 5 years ago might not be valuable now. Someone who aligned with your vision when you were starting out might be dead weight now that you're scaling. The powerful reassess constantly. They're not sentimental about relationships that no longer serve. This doesn't mean you discard people cruelly or without thought. It means you're honest about what relationships are and aren't. It means you invest your best energy in people who match that investment. It means you understand that your loyalty is one of the most valuable things you can give, and you don't give valuable things away for free. Your inner circle should be small, vetted, and constantly earning their position. Everyone else? Friendly, cordial, but not in the vault. Type this: my loyalty has a price tag. This is where most people quit listening, because this challenges everything they've been taught. Good. Stay with me. Lesson 6. People don't resist change. They resist being changed. You're trying to help people, and they keep fighting you. You're offering wisdom, opportunities, better ways of thinking, and they reject it. Not because your advice is wrong, but because it's coming from you. Here's what winners know. People don't want to be fixed. They want to feel like they figured it out themselves. The moment you try to change someone directly, you trigger their ego defense system. Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm fine the way I am. You don't understand my situation. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you genuinely want to help. You've positioned yourself as superior and them as inferior, and the human ego will fight that to the death. The powerful don't try to change people. They create environments where people change themselves. They ask questions that lead people to conclusions rather than stating the conclusions. They present options rather than directions. They make people feel like the decision, the realization, the transformation was their own idea. This is manipulation, by the way. Let's call it what it is. But here's the question. Is it more manipulative to force your truth on someone and create resistance, or to guide them to discover that truth in a way they can actually receive it? Winners choose effectiveness over righteousness every time. Think about the last time someone tried to change your mind about something you were emotionally invested in. Did you immediately say, "You're right, thank you for correcting me"? Or did you dig in, defend your position, find every reason why they were wrong? Exactly. Now reverse it. That's what you do when you try to directly change others. If you want to influence people, if you want to lead, if you want to create real change, you have to understand that people's ego is their first line of defense. And you don't storm defenses. You go around them. You make the person feel smart, capable, and in control, while subtly shaping the environment that influences their choices. This takes patience. It takes skill. Most people don't have either, so they just keep banging their head against walls, wondering why no one listens. Comment: I influence, I don't force. Notice how uncomfortable this is getting. Good, we're getting to the real knowledge. Lesson 7. Scarcity is manufactured, and it's your best tool. Why do you want things that are hard to get? Why does a packed restaurant seem more appealing than an empty one? Why does someone who's always available seem less valuable than someone who's busy? Because your brain is wired to equate scarcity with value, and winners manufacture scarcity intentionally. Most people are available, too available. They respond immediately. They rearrange their schedule for anyone. They're always accessible. And then they wonder why they're not valued. Because you can't value what's always there. You can't appreciate what costs nothing to access. The powerful understand this at a primal level. They limit access. They create waiting lists. They make you work to get their time, their attention, their services. And what happens? Demand increases, value increases. People start to believe that this person, this product, this opportunity must be extraordinary because it's so hard to get. This isn't about playing games. This is about understanding human psychology. We value what we work for. We dismiss what comes easy. That's not a bug in human nature. It's a feature, and the powerful use it. Look at luxury brands. They could produce more. They could make their products accessible to everyone, but they don't. They limit supply intentionally. They make you wait. They make you prove yourself worthy, and their value skyrockets. Now apply this to yourself. When you're too available, too eager, too accommodating, you're signaling low value. I have nothing better to do than wait for you. My time isn't valuable enough to protect. I'm so grateful for any attention that I'll drop everything. That's the message you send, and people receive it loud and clear. Winners protect their time fiercely. They book out weeks in advance. They have processes to access them. They say no more than yes. And the result?
People value their yes 100 times more. People work to get their attention. People perceive them as high status because their behavior signals high status. Make yourself scarce, not through avoidance, but through genuine focus on high-value activities. Fill your time with things that matter. Then, when you do give someone access, it's a gift, not a given. Type this: my time is my currency. Most of you won't implement this because you're afraid of missing out, but what you're actually missing out on is being valued. Lesson 8. Emotion is information. Control yours, read theirs. Your emotions are leaking everywhere, and everyone can see them. Your frustration, your excitement, your fear, your desperation. Every emotion you display is information you're giving away for free. And the people who are beating you, they're collecting that information and using it against you. Winners don't suppress emotion, they master it. They feel everything, but they choose what to display. This is power. When you can feel angry but appear calm, you can think clearly while your opponent spirals. When you can feel excited but appear neutral, you don't show your cards. When you can feel afraid but appear confident, you can act despite the fear. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They feel something and they immediately express it. Someone offends them, they lash out. Something excites them, they can't contain it. Something scares them, it's written all over their face. This makes them predictable. This makes them controllable. This makes them weak. The powerful have mastered emotional regulation, not emotional suppression. That's different. Suppression is unhealthy and unsustainable. Regulation is feeling the emotion fully, processing it internally, then choosing the strategic response. It's the gap between stimulus and response that Viktor Frankl talked about. In that gap lies all your power. And here's the other side. While you're mastering your own emotions, you're becoming fluent in reading others. Every micro-expression, every tonal shift, every body language cue is telling you something. Most people miss it because they're too busy managing their own emotional chaos. Winners are calm enough internally to see everything externally. When you can read someone's real emotional state beneath their words, you have power. You know when they're bluffing. You know when they're uncertain. You know when they want something badly, even though they're pretending not to. And you use that information to navigate the interaction in your favor. This is high-level social dynamics. This is the difference between being moved by the current and steering the ship. Most people are drowning in their feelings, wondering why life keeps happening to them. Winners are using feelings as data, making calculated moves. Learn to pause. Between the feeling and the expression, pause. In that space, choose power. Comment: I feel everything. I show nothing. This is getting intense, but you wanted the truth. Here it is.
Lesson 9. Consensus is the enemy of greatness. Every time you ask for everyone's opinion, you dilute your vision. Every time you try to make everyone happy, you make no one happy. Every time you seek consensus, you guarantee mediocrity. Winners understand that greatness is never a democracy. Most people are addicted to validation. They need everyone to agree before they move. They need permission from the crowd before they act. And what happens? Their ideas get watered down. Their bold moves become safe moves. Their potential for extraordinary becomes a guarantee of ordinary. The powerful make decisions alone or with a small, trusted council. They listen to input, but they don't seek consensus. They don't need everyone on board. They understand that breakthrough thinking is almost always contrarian. If everyone agrees with you, you're probably not thinking big enough or different enough. Look at every major innovation, every cultural shift, every breakthrough in history. It started with someone who ignored the consensus, someone who said, I don't care that everyone thinks this is crazy. I see something they don't. And they were ridiculed, doubted, opposed, until they were right. Your need for agreement is killing your potential. Every time you hesitate because not everyone supports you, you're giving your power away to people who don't have your vision, your courage, or your skin in the game. They have opinions. You have a mission. These are not equal. Here's the brutal part. Most people's opinions are based on their own limitations. They tell you what's not possible because it's not possible for them. They tell you to be realistic because they've accepted a limited reality. They tell you to play it safe because they're afraid. And if you listen, you become them. Winners surround themselves with people who challenge them to think bigger, not smaller, who question the how, not the what, who add to the vision rather than diminishing it. And when those people aren't in the room, winners trust themselves enough to move forward anyway. Stop seeking permission. Stop needing agreement. Make the decision. Take the step. Prove them wrong through results, not arguments. Type, "I trust my vision." The crowd will never understand until you've already won. By then, you won't need their understanding. Lesson 10. Pain is the currency of transformation. You're avoiding the one thing that would change everything. You know what it is. That conversation you need to have, that investment you need to make, that comfort zone you need to destroy. You're avoiding it because it will hurt. And here's what winners know. It's supposed to hurt. Pain is not the problem. Pain is the price. Every level of life costs something. Financial level, it costs risk, stress, learning curves. Relationship level, it costs vulnerability, ego death, uncomfortable truths. Physical level, it costs discipline, discomfort, pushing past what your body says is possible. There is no growth without cost, and the cost is always some form of pain. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain. They medicate it, avoid it, numb it, distract themselves from it, and in doing so, they run from transformation, because transformation and pain are packaged together. You don't get one without the other. The powerful don't avoid pain, they allocate it strategically. They choose which pain they're willing to endure for which outcome. They understand that you're going to experience pain either way. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret, the pain of growth or the pain of stagnation, the pain of temporary discomfort or the pain of permanent mediocrity. Here's the thing that nobody tells you. The pain of discipline is finite. You push through it and you emerge stronger, more capable, more powerful. The pain of regret, though, that's infinite. That haunts you. That wakes you up at 3 a.m. when you're 60 years old, wondering what you could have been if you'd just been willing to endure temporary discomfort. Winners embrace the pain of becoming. They walk into the fire knowing it will burn, but also knowing that fire forges steel. They have difficult conversations that make them shake. They take financial risks that terrify them. They do the work that makes them want to quit. And on the other side of that pain, though, a version of themselves that couldn't exist without it. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you're not willing to hurt. And until you are, nothing changes. Comment, "I pay the price." This is the turning point. Everything after this builds on whether you're willing to embrace this truth.
Lesson 11. Your reputation is built in shadows, not spotlights. You think your reputation is built by what you say publicly, by your social media presence, by your big visible wins. It's not. Your reputation is built by what you do when nobody's watching, by how you treat people who can't do anything for you, by whether you deliver when the stakes are low and no one would know if you didn't. Winners understand that trust is built in 1,000 invisible moments. When you're consistent in private, people believe you in public. When you have integrity in small things, people trust you with big things. When you do what you said you'd do, even when it's inconvenient, people know you're serious. Most people perform. They show up when it matters, when people are watching, when there's something to gain. And then they slack when the audience is gone. They cut corners when no one will notice. They compromise their standards when the pressure is off. And they wonder why people don't quite believe them when they make big claims. Your reputation isn't your personal brand. Your reputation is the residue of your character. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's whether they trust you with sensitive information. It's whether they recommend you when opportunities arise. And that's determined by your behavior in the shadows, not your performance in the spotlight. Think about the people you truly respect. Why do you respect them? It's probably not because of their big public wins. It's because you've seen them be consistent. You've seen them do the right thing when it cost them. You've seen them deliver when it would have been easy to make excuses. That's real reputation. The powerful build reputations like they build wealth, slowly, consistently, through compound interest. Every small act of integrity is a deposit. Every kept promise is a deposit. Every time you do quality work when good enough would suffice is a deposit. And eventually you have a reputation that precedes you. People want to work with you, invest in you, open doors for you because they know who you are when nobody's looking. Stop focusing on the highlight reel. Start focusing on the daily grind of being someone worth trusting. Your reputation will build itself. Type this: my character is my currency. This is the unsexy truth. Most people want shortcuts to reputation. Winners know there aren't any. Lesson 12. The game never ends, but you can change the rules. Here's the final lesson, and it's the one that separates true power from temporary success. There is no arrival point. There is no moment where you've made it and can coast forever. The game never ends. But here's the twist. Winners understand they can change which game they're playing. Most people are playing someone else's game. They're chasing metrics that society defined: money, status, titles, validation, and they grind themselves into dust trying to win at a game whose rules they never questioned. Winners realize they can design their own game. They can define what winning means. They can create a playing field where their unique strengths become dominant. You're playing by rules you never agreed to. You're chasing wins that don't actually fulfill you. You're measuring yourself against standards that someone else invented. And until you wake up to this, you'll always feel like you're running on someone else's treadmill. The most powerful move you can make is to step back and ask, what game do I actually want to play? Not what game you should play, not what game looks impressive. What game aligns with your actual values, your actual definition of a life well lived? Maybe the traditional path of corporate climbing isn't your game. Maybe building an empire isn't your game. Maybe influence and impact are more important to you than wealth. Maybe freedom is more valuable than status. Maybe deep relationships matter more than wide networks. There's no wrong answer, but there's a deadly wrong move. Playing the wrong game because you never stopped to choose. Winners redefine the game constantly. They start playing the traditional game to learn the rules, build resources, and gain power. Then they create their own game where they have the advantage. They don't compete where everyone else is competing. They create new categories where competition doesn't exist yet. This is the ultimate power move. Not beating everyone at their game, but inventing a game where you're the only player at your level, where your unique combination of skills, experiences, and values creates something that can't be replicated. The game never ends. There's always another level, another challenge, another evolution, but you're not stuck playing the game that was handed to you. You have the power to change the rules. Most people never realize this. They spend their whole lives playing a game they're not suited for, wondering why they can't win. Winners, they play their own game, and when they master that, they invent a new one. Drop this final comment: I write my own rules.
This is it. 12 shadow rules that separate winners from everyone else. Most people who watched this video will forget it by tomorrow. They'll go back to their comfortable patterns, their safe thinking, their familiar limitations. They'll convince themselves this is too dark, too harsh, too manipulative. And you know what? Let them, because that's how the game stays winnable for people like you, who are willing to see reality as it is, not as they wish it were. Part of you probably thinks this is dark. Part of you probably feels uncomfortable right now. Good. That means you're awake. That means you're seeing past the fairy tales you've been fed about how success works. The truth isn't always pretty, but it's always powerful. Let me be crystal clear. This isn't about being evil. This isn't about hurting people or manipulating them maliciously. This is about understanding how power, influence, and success actually work in the real world. This is about playing the game consciously instead of being played unconsciously. The people who use these principles to harm others, they fail eventually, because sustainable power isn't built on destruction, it's built on understanding reality and operating within it strategically. These rules are amoral, they're tools. What matters is what you build with them. You now have knowledge that most people will never have, not because they can't access it, but because they're not willing to accept it. They want success without the uncomfortable truths. They want power without understanding power dynamics. They want to win while pretending the game doesn't exist. You're different, or at least you have the potential to be. The question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Here's what I want you to do right now. If this video shifted something in you, if you actually see the game differently now, hit that like button. Not for the algorithm, though yes, for the algorithm, but as a personal commitment to yourself that you're done playing small. Share this video with someone who's ready to hear it. Not everyone, most people aren't ready, but you know someone who is, someone who's tired of the lies, someone who's ready to see reality clearly. Subscribe to this channel because this is just the beginning. I'm pulling back the curtain on everything they don't want you to know. Success isn't luck, power isn't accidental, and you're about to learn all of it. And finally, go back through this video and drop every single affirmation in the comments. My presence is premium. I choose expansion over comfort. My silence has weight. All 12 of them, because when you write something, you claim it, you make it real, you signal to yourself and the universe that you're serious. The world is a chessboard. You've been a pawn thinking you were a player. Now you know the real moves. The question is, are you going to make them? See you in the next video, and remember, success isn't luck. It never was.